afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another bout of Propagandacast news with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of News. And, well, there's been another update to the December balance preview. Some smaller changes here and there. Howitzers now require both manpower and fuel, meaning they're a little cheaper. Pack 43s get the same deal. Bundle grenades for the Wehrmacht, the Oberkommanders get slightly nerfed, but overall they still perform largely the same. So, I mean, you know, largely there things have just been sort of slightly normalised. They're sort of putting more efforts on the commanders. Penal troopers, though, still feel like they might be a bit much and they might still need to nerf the rifle. And a part of me does increasingly feel like they might also want to leave to snipers because they are still a bastard to counter, even with, you know, the specific counters like, say, a scout car. But that's another story. Now, the big neat sort of gain here, of course, is both the Wehrmacht and the Soviet commanders this time around are getting revamped. So we get changes of the Ostrom doctrine and we get changes for the Jaeger infantry doctrine. And while they're somewhat on par with what I anticipate, there are still a few surprises. So let's get to it. First, for the Ostrom. Ostroms basically themselves, meaning, of course, Ostrom from here, this doctrine, and basically any doctrine that sort of get them in Wild Reef. Infantry basically now take longer to reinforce, but on the other hand, once you get to tier 4, you can actually upgrade them with an LMG 42, so they long term have some more options. Plus, they're sort of made so they use the same icon for if they get the cover bonus or not as the British infantry. So that's one change. Second change: the artillery field officer gets quite an overhaul. He's now a 5-man squad with a pistol and 4 MP40s on the same level as the assault grenadiers. He has an ability to boost himself by diversion, meaning he becomes a bigger target, I suppose. So personally, they're to sort of boost himself, but I'm not so sure about. I haven't had much time to try that one out. So that should change as well there. Plus, he loses the medical ability, but can call in a heavy mortar strike for 40 munitions. Quite devastating if it does hit. So, I mean, overall, the artillery field officer becomes a lot more potent. The trench is lost. Instead, now Wehrmacht grenadiers, Panzer grenadiers, and Ostrom can build sandbags and barbed wire. The supply drop zone is replaced for sort of a supply drop a bit more with the Alaska, which is a machine gun, an anti-tank gun, and some other assorted bits. Variable artillery support is not touched. So in that regard, you know, artillery field officer Ostrom is going to affect other doctrines. They get a more unique ability instead of supply drop zone there, so that's not going to, for some, change the other doctrines. Then we go into Jaeger infantry. Ambush camouflage now becomes sort of a two thing, because not only do you get ambush camouflage, your troops get sprint right away. Plus, you can now move through cover if your troops are actually in ambush. So that's increases their flexibility, but it also means, for example, Storm doctrine also gets access to sprint, because of course it has ambush camouflage, and encirclement gets access to ambush camouflage because sprint basically gets changed that way. So there's a bit of a knock-on effect there. A Jaeger light infantry upgrade gets knocked up to 2 CP, becomes 3 G43s by the way for Panzer grenadiers and stormtroopers, meaning they get a bit more out of it. And then comes the big news: they get their tactical replaced. No, the doctrine does. Instead, they get what is known as the Panzer Grenadier Command Squad, which I suppose the best was described as, but the lieutenants to the rifle in the Panzer Grenadier Command Squad is the Panzer Grenadiers. It's a 5-man squad with 4 assault rifles, 1 MP40, bundle grenades, smoke grenades, and access to flares with a bit of veterancy. So basically, sort of some tougher chaps. That way, they can sort of, you know, pull a bit more weight and sort of support your Panzer Grenadiers with smoke grenades or flares. So they're sort of a high utility unit that way. Light artillery barrage, by the way, becomes cheaper and a bit more is faster on it. So that basically means German infantry doctrine, which by the benefits from the artillery field officer and the infantry, suddenly becomes a lot more viable. Mechanized assault gets the slightly improved light artillery badge as well, and joint operations also benefits from overall cheaper howitzers, cheaper Pack 43s, more accessible light artillery badges, and the better artillery field officer. They also changed the reconnaissance overfly a bit there. So in that regard, you know, a lot of doctrines just by again, revamping these two suddenly become a lot more interesting. Then we move on to the Soviets. But shock troopers, by the way, get some slight changes there, nothing huge, just some slight here. Guardsmen, though, for Guards Rifle, basically get some bigger changes. But hit the dirt gets changed a bit, so they come overall more better defense, but at the same time they lose accuracy. So it's not just, you know, rush up, hit the dirt, and just murder away. They sort of help them survive longer fights, but they're not going to be much, you know, better offensively. Guards Riflemen get several boosts. That makes them sort of a bit more nasty. They're a bit more nasty. They focus on get their own version of hit the dirt, which boosts their weapons while they hit the dirt. I don't think they get a defensive bonus out of it. They certainly don't protect from suppression like actual hit the dirt they do. But it does basically mean that they overall fire better with the weapons. So light machine guns, all their PTRs just fire a lot faster. So a Guards Rifle squad suddenly hitting the dirt there could be quite a problem. Also, the R2 Sturmweg attack there gets a few changes as well. So now it's 2 craft strafing in from different angles, a bit like the German Sturm attack there with the anti-craft strafes. Also becomes, I suppose, less likely to wipe units, which is neat. but overall can sort of hit more units at the same time, overall having a bigger effect, and also thus to be a bit more useful versus blobs. So those are sort of the big changes. There are obviously a lot of doctrines will benefit from the new improved guards, rifle infantry, including guard motor, combined arms, and mechanized support as examples. So those are, for example, some things that will benefit there. And then we come to tank hunter doctrine. That one is getting a hell of an overhaul. Anti-tank grenade assault, and I think it's basically sort of put into one specific package for the conscripts that also gives them the ability to ambush and strike at tanks there all of a sudden with a first strike bonus. So that's a big one. And the tank light mines and engineer salvage kits also gets boosted together. Engineer salvage kits becomes less effective, less amazing, but they also become cheaper, thus becoming more practical. So those are some things that have been put together there. And then they get an ambush ability for their tanks. Yes, you heard right. They get an ambush ability for their tanks, which also has a first strike bonus. Light tanks and medium tanks can basically go into ambush and sort of that way sort of pop out there. And I believe that includes T-34s and whatnot. So there you go, that one. Plus they also get one, I think, for anti-tank guns, which also gets a first strike bonus. And I think they use the same one, for example, from combined arms, anti-tank and ambush tactics. So that one benefits from doctrines from suddenly having a first strike bonus when it strikes out of ambush, which means increased penetration. And I think also maybe some other bits. So yeah, that one is getting a huge overhaul in comparison to the other doctrines, and certainly I think might see a lot more usage. So those are all the changes there. I mean, I've sort of had some time to see out the Wehrmacht ones. Took a bit of while, but I'm certainly warming up to them. In particular, I'm liking the Panzergrenadier Command Squad, but also the new Artillery Field Officer is a lot more fun to use. Plus, his smoke bar, I forgot to mention that beforehand, is now free, so you can basically call in free smoke with the Artillery Field Officer, which definitely boosts his utility. So I mean, we're probably looking at a lot more doctrines becoming a lot more viable, opening up for more options for when you want to play Companies too. So that's just smashing. So there you go, that is your bat of Propagandacast news. If you'd like to subscribe, like, share, comment on it. If you'd like what I do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. Links in the video description. This is Imperial Dane signing off, and see you all another time for another bout of news. Cheers.